So you want to be an Instagram artist. You're thumbing through the online socials and you're like, oh man, that just would be amazing to have so many followers. Well, guess what? Here's the thing. Instagram itself does not pay any money at all. Big surprise, right? They don't have ad revenue. There's no payout at the end of the month, but there is a way to make money from Instagram, from social media. But keep in mind, the only reason to build a presence on social media is because you want to sell product, something that you're selling, whether it's selling original artwork, whether it's selling your customized iPhone cases or those sweet pogs that you've been painting, or the buttons, the pins. Maybe you've been painting on some onesies for little babies. Or hell, if you got a weird kind of a relationship with your followers, maybe you sell them your bathwater. I don't know. What you sell is your business, but I'm going to talk to you about how to sell it. The point is you should have your product figured out and you should have a landing page where you're selling that product. It should be easy for people to purchase. I don't recommend doing something where you've got to ship out a copy of everything and you only make $1 on each one. That's not the best kind of business model. But if you're like trying to find employment as an artist, it's a bit of a waste of time. People don't really get scouted from social media channels, and especially these days where there's a lot of, I don't want to use the word fake artists, but let's just say artists who don't know how to design and they're unable to work with a team to create useful content for them. So companies are like, well, we don't want to hire the people who are fake artists. We want to hire the people who know what they're doing, right? So if you're looking for employment, don't bother with social media. Just focus everything you're doing on your portfolio and making sure that your portfolio shows that you understand production pipelines for whatever it is, the industry that you're working in, that you want to get into. And the most crucial step of finding a job is to actually apply. So you got to go to the job listings and then you got to apply to actual job openings at game studios. And I got a whole bunch of videos about that topic, so check those out. And yeah, getting employment is the easiest way to make money. Being of service to other people, offering a service to them, using your skills is the most easy way to make a few bucks as an artist and get started as a career as an artist. It's a lot easier than building your own business and building your own brand and marketing and advertising and learning all of that stuff. But keep in mind, if you're going to build an audience, it's because you don't want a job. The famous YouTubers and famous Instagram artists, they're not looking for jobs. I didn't start a YouTube channel because I wanted to get more jobs, okay? No, I'm trying to unemploy myself here. I'm trying to build my own business. I'm trying to build my own product. That's why I started on social media. And even now, social media and YouTube, this is not my primary job. This is not the only thing I do with myself. I run a game studio. I'm managing like 5 to 7 people at any given time. As you can imagine, writing and directing and doing all the artwork for a video game is pretty demanding on my time, and I only really get a few hours a week to make videos for YouTube. And building an audience, if you wanted to build an audience enough to make a living off of it for yourself, it might require you for many years to give that your full attention. And here are the things that you should be thinking about and doing in order to build that audience, okay? Numero uno, the first thing is pick a platform, okay? You're going to probably start out on a lot of them, like you might start out on TikTok, you might start doing YouTube Shorts, you might start doing Instagram, you might start doing many different social media platforms at the beginning, and then you're going to want to find which one works best for your voice and your type of content, okay? Because I found I had a blog for many years, and my text blog didn't do as well as my YouTube. Neither did my Twitter. I've been on Twitter for like 14 years. I'm not a popular Twitter artist, and that's okay. My YouTube channel does really well. My personal voice and my time lapse of my artwork was more compelling than my text or just the images that I would post. And so what I found was that YouTube was the best avenue for me to go because of those factors, okay? Even though I had a crummy microphone, no camera, and I didn't even know how to capture screen captures back then, but I found the platform that just suited me best. And I think that you've got to feel around to find the one that suits you best based on what your advantages are. Sometimes it can be surprising what people actually want from you, but you go with the one that gets you the most engagement. The second thing is to be consistent. So you're building a brand, okay? So if you're doing, I don't know, dark fantasy, for many different posts, like maybe every week you're posting 4 different paintings of dark fantasy stuff that you do, and maybe one day you're like, hey, here's a picture of my dog. Or even just another painting, but in a different art style. Like, hey, I thought anime was cool, so I did this drawing of an anime character. But if everything you've been doing is dark fantasy and then you suddenly do that, that is suddenly inconsistent. Well, that can really disrupt your momentum and throw a wrench in the whole thing. I learned this from YouTube for a long time. I was just growing like crazy. I was growing like 20,000 new subscribers a month. And then I started doing like live podcast type of content for a little while, and it just totally disrupted the flow. And so for a long time, YouTube algorithm didn't know who to recommend my content to. And not just that, but people who thought, oh, well, I don't really like Trent's live stream stuff, so I'm kind of tuned out. So they stop coming back. They forget, oh, well, there was a reason why I was tuning in, and he's not making that kind of thing anymore. People have a very short attention span when it comes to these things. Whatever you did last, if they liked it, they want more of that. You can change your brand, and that's fine. You can migrate it into a different thing altogether over time, but that has to be very slow movements, because ultimately the people who liked the stuff you were doing yesterday, well, you got to keep doing the same stuff that you were doing yesterday. And that's where all of this becomes a job. And now you might be beginning to realize why I don't make YouTube my primary career focus. Yeah, sure. I know how to make videos that get 500,000 views. Yes, I do. And they grow huge subscriber counts. I know exactly the formula. I know exactly how to do it. But it's not fun for me. I don't want to do that. I want to direct video games. That's fun for me. That's exciting and interesting. So while social media can be something that you care a lot about, if you're the type of a person who gets bored quickly, you might want to just keep it as something that you do sort of a couple of days a week and not make it your primary career focus. That way you can make whatever you want, have a great time doing it, enjoy it still, and the people who do like what you're doing are going to really enjoy it. They're going to keep coming back, and that can be a much healthier, I think, relationship with social media, and keeping a healthy relationship with maybe a smaller audience, but a better relationship with it, a better relationship with your audience. And if you really, really want to do those video game reviews or something, do what I did, man. Like, start another channel. I have another channel where I play video games and I review video games, and I just talk about my impressions with them. And it's really not consistent, that one, because it's just fun for me to do. And some people want to listen to that. Not everybody who follows my channel wants to watch me play Metal Gear. Some of you do. And for those of you who do, check out my other channel, links in the description below. But growing your channel, growing your audience, tip number 3 is to make sure that you have links to places where people can easily, with 1 or 2 clicks, purchase your content. So let's say that on Instagram, you're posting consistently, you got 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 followers, and you've got a link in your bio that shows people where your storefront is. And that's where they can purchase your comic book, for example. And so you're posting your comic book covers, you're posting your comic book pages, and you've got a link in your bio. And make sure that wherever possible, you can put a little watermark on the artwork itself as you're posting them in the description of every post. Make sure that you state, hey, a link to the comic is in the bio, check it out. And this is important because many people will forget about what the experience is like of following themselves. Like, imagine you just discovered you. Someone sees a photo of your comic book that you just got printed, maybe you followed my Making Comics workshop, and you've got a copy of your comic, your first comic that you've ever made, and they see this stack of them on your Instagram. And if there's no link to where they can purchase it, well, you just lost a sale, because they're going to forget about it. In 10 minutes, they're thinking about what they're going to have for dinner. They're thinking about the date they got tonight. They're thinking about that new video. They're thinking about other things that are right in front of them. So you need to make it very easy for them to make that purchase, to just go, oh, well, they probably got a link in the bio. It says it right in the picture. Oh, okay, click on the link. Here's where I purchase it from. Okay, it's easy to purchase. I don't have to sign up for some new thing. You can just easily click and you can purchase it. It's from a trusted vendor, for example. That can be really helpful too. The simplest thing is, and this is age old, man. They've been doing this since the beginning of time. Sell your originals. There's some people who sell original oil paintings for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for an original oil painting. And you could be posting your artwork and your progress of your artwork on your Instagram. and you could be selling that original painting. I don't want to suggest that if you're new that you can sell your artwork for that much, but once you develop your skill, that could be a very viable business model that you can get good at over time, and eventually it pays off big time. You could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year potentially. Personally, I found that digital goods are the best because I like making money while I sleep. It's nice. Tip number 4 is to present your work in a high quality, prestigious manner. You don't want to just have low resolution, low quality, poorly lit photos of your artwork. You want to have a nice presentation to how you display the artwork so that it looks prestigious. Think about what the people who are viewing it are perceiving. Are you actually painting your drawings on like a large mural? Well, show photos of you painting that thing. It shows like that it's real, it's tangible, it's impressive. There is production quality that goes into presenting your Instagram and Twitter videos, even though they're super short. It's worth putting in the time to learn video editing so that you can present it in a very cool, flashy manner. There's a couple of artists that I've seen on Instagram that their artwork is not good, but they'll get so many followers because of their following these exact rules. They're consistent with the type of content they do. They're presenting it in a very polished presentation that looks very professional. It looks very high quality. There's snappy cuts, and it looks like they're actually painting the thing in real time, even though I know it's totally fake. But the audience goes for it. They love the presentation. They love the illusion. So in a lot of ways, you are creating a theatrical experience. Like when you go to a performance like Cirque du Soleil, everybody's dressed up because it's sort of a requirement. They have a dress code, and then on top of that, everything is so formally presented. They have statues and art and the lighting and the curtains. Everything is really pristine. And if you were going into some dumpy old warehouse or something that's like worn down, beaten up, you're gonna have different expectations about what you're gonna get. But if everything looks prestigious as hell, then that just screams quality. And if you really want to make a presence, you have to scream quality with the content that you make. And believe me, after you've been doing this for like 10 years, that gets really exhausting. So what a lot of people end up doing is they end up hiring a video editor, or they hire somebody to present their work more professionally. Hell, one of my friends is a very successful YouTube artist, and he hires people to write scripts for him, and he has a video editing team. He literally shows up for work for a few hours a week, and he's running a multi-million-dollar business. But that is a video for another day. The last thing I want to talk about is clickbait. I hate it, you hate it, but yet we still keep clicking on it. So as a content creator on social media, you have to use some clickbaity type of techniques to get people engaged. Now, just make sure that if you do something like that, you don't overwhelm people with clickbait crap. You're not deceitful with your clickbait. Your content is actually of quality and of value. And I try to do that with everything that I do. I try to add as much quality and value to the content as possible. My content is not for everybody. Not everybody is going to appreciate or need this information, but the people who do, it's going to really unlock some opportunities for them. And I've helped a lot of people throughout my career and on my YouTube channel. So I'm pleased to do it. And sadly, every now and then I got to do a video title that's named something that you can't help but click on. You've got to learn that psychology. And so much of everything I'm talking about right here is psychology. But before I go, I want to talk about the most important part about this whole thing. And social media, I believe, is damaging. I think in retrospect, the internet was probably a bad idea. Just in general, the internet was probably a bad idea. Social media can really destroy, especially if you're an artist in social media, can really destroy or distort your view of reality of other people. And I want to remind you to hold on to your humanity, hold on to the things that got you into making art to begin with. If you find yourself slipping too far down into that rabbit hole and you find yourself going in dark places, pump the brakes a little bit, bro. Pump the brakes a little bit. Get back to something that you just enjoyed about doing it. Maybe you need to just do less of it. Some people will work themselves to death over this sort of a thing to just get clicks and views. And quite literally, people are causing self-harm to get attention on social media. do not do that. It is pretty fleeting, it is pretty shallow, and ultimately it's really just, well, it doesn't have any more power or control over your destiny than what you allow it to have. And you always have that choice to step away. You always have that choice to just make a little bit more honest content if you wanted to. You don't need more views, likes, approval from other people, strangers who forget about you in a week. And that I haven't even gotten into when you start hearing really awful negative comments or things that people might say about you. That can be really hard for some people to handle. I've become rather desensitized to it, I would say, in a lot of ways. It's sort of like when an NPC in a video game says something nasty to you in GTA, it just rolls right off. It's just funny. But some people let their social media run their life, and they let it shape their personal sense of self-worth and their value. And that's really not a good idea. So I don't encourage you making it your all, even though it does require a lot of work to build something solid and consistent. I do wish you all the greatest success with it. But if you're like, yo, man, this sounds awesome. I want to get better at art so that I can impress more people, so that I can handle it. This is what I want. I've already decided. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, man. I've made a series of workshops that'll teach you how to create more impressive artwork. Check out my Hearthstone workshop. This will teach you how I do all of my paintings for Hearthstone. I've done over almost 100 of them now up to this point. And I teach you all of my secrets and tricks on how to create flashy illustration for games like Hearthstone over there on my Gumroad channel. And dudes, I'm here every week, so I will see you guys in the next video. All right, ciao.